Thank you very much for such a kind introduction. My name is Dr. Sassi Malik Sher, as she has already told you. I graduated from Khyber Medical University back in 2016 and then took my CSS exam in 2017 and got allocated into Military Lands and Cantonments Group. I was the fourth in my family to qualify the exam. There were 3 sisters already who had done that, and the younger one, the youngest in our family, qualified in 2019, bringing Sher Sisters' name everywhere on social media. The BBC took an interview of my father. So I'll be sharing a few stories related to that, which actually pertain to me and my father. All of the introduction basically is for the man who brought this change. So the talks here are usually long, and sometimes people doze off, especially when you're students and sitting on the other side of the stage. So I will not make it a very boring long talk. I'll start with a small story. It's a story of a little boy who had green eyes, and he was born in a very conservative area. The area he was born in, during his childhood, he saw that the girls were not sent to school. The girls were told to be seen more and to talk less, to be heard less. With that, as you might have sisters at home, the siblings, they sit together, they share ideas, what they want to be, what they will be one day, how things will turn out in future. He was also part of those conversations. Later on, he realized that when he was wearing the uniforms, his sisters were wearing bridal dresses. He entered the schools and colleges and universities, while the sisters entered somebody else's houses as wives, leaving behind all the dreams that they had. Whatever they wanted to be stayed back at home. This young boy saw all of that happening, but the cultures, the traditions, and all the things that were going around, he could not stand against them. But all these things kept on waking his heart up. He kept on asking these questions to himself on the inside of him, but did not dare speak up. Then he grew up, went to a university, and later on got a good government job. He came back home. His mother told him that it was time he should get married, and there was just one condition that he put up in front of his parents, and that was that he wanted an educated woman as a wife. So that green-eyed boy married my mother, had 5 beautiful daughters, who later on became the Sher sisters. He was told throughout his life that you do not have a son, the legacy will die, and this will happen and that will happen. The name Sher is my grandfather's name, and we 5 girls are carrying it further. The topic is very beautiful. When I was told that I have to speak on what we leave behind, the first thing that clicked my mind was the stories that we tell our kids and the stories which we were told as kids. So the first one was the Little Red Riding Hood. And look at the type of stories that we tell our kids. There's a grandmother living in the jungle all alone, and Little Red Riding Hood would take food for her through the jungle, and the wolf follows and all of that. But why was the grandmother living all alone in the jungle when the father had a house next to jungle himself? So the stories don't really make sense. There was a little clip on internet that I watched once, and it really joggled up my mind too, that why did we not think about it? There was a little girl, and the mother was telling story of Aladdin and Jasmine, and how Aladdin comes into her life and he picks her up, puts her on a carpet that flies, and then he takes her all the way around the world to make her see the world. And that little girl suddenly responds and snaps back, was she not a princess? And the mom says yes. And she said that she had all the things in the world to go and see the world. Why was she waiting for a man to come and put her on a carpet and take her to see the world? That is when it clicked my mind that this is so true. Why are we telling our girls these stories, even the boys, I believe? But this is not how practically the things are. My father, on the other hand, was a very different man. Throughout my childhood, throughout my teenage years, I saw my family pressurizing my father that you have 5 girls. They need to be married in time. Don't waste time in their universities. Don't waste time on this. Don't waste time on that. Just get them married. There's just the biological clock is ticking and all the things that we keep on hearing everywhere. But in our home, on our dining table, we used to have discussions about women empowerment. We used to have discussions about economically independent women and how we should not be married without becoming economically independent first. So now all 5 are economically independent and married with kids. So there's a right time for everything. We are told that the legacy is through the money that is handed down through generations, the wealth, the land that you give to your kids. I believe through this topic, we should realize that our words are legacy, our actions are legacy. What one person does, it creates a ripple effect and goes down to many generations to come. So we need to make sure that our actions matter and our words count. Rumi says, whatever we put into the universe comes back to us. So if you're not a very good person or you're not very much thinking about the future, please be selfish and think about karma at least. If you put something bad into the universe, it will definitely come back to you. It completes a full circle and in the end reaches you again. If you put something good in the universe, again it will complete a full circle and in the end come back to you. So be that selfish person, believe in karma and let the good things come back to you. Alright Ji, so talking about the good things that we do, I wanted to share a few examples from my life. In 2019, I had qualified CSS in 17 and then prepared again. I wanted to change the group at that time. So I prepared again and qualified again in 2019. In 2019, I realized that the guidance regarding the civil service exam, the CSS exam, was very difficult to get, very expensive for some students, and it was not for everyone. So I made a page with the name of Sassi's Life. It still exists very much on Instagram. And I started with the idea of guiding people free of cost. So I started teaching people, I started talking about English. I was the topper of English in my batch, so I usually talked more about English. And then I realized that a huge chunk, by huge chunk I mean around 800 to 1000 messages a day, which only said, please guide us what CSS is. And I know that feeling because when my parents used to take my eldest sister to people and family members who had already qualified CSS and asked them about it, they told them that you have to learn everything. Everything. So my dad sat down with her and they decided in everything we should start with history. And then we'll come to the contemporary topics. Later on, at the time of filling forms, they realized that there were only 6 compulsory subjects and only 600 mark optional subjects. So she asked twice or thrice to the person who was guiding them in FBSE that I just have to choose few subjects out of the whole list. They said yes. She said, so I do not have to learn all the histories of the world. They said, no, you just take these subjects and that's it. So whenever I received a message which asked me where to start or what CSS is, it reminded me of my sister and my parents who would take her along to all the officers asking about the exam and everything. And they were misguided every time. So with a good intention, I had put something in the universe. This page made me the most followed CSS officer. Right now, because of the followers on this page, it is perceived that I am the most followed CSS officer on the social media apps. Well, in Civil Services Institute, it's my mother's institute. The vision was brought to a bigger picture where we started guiding people on campus, online, everywhere. I usually take one class of essay as well, and the topic that we usually discuss is feminism. talking about women. So, the biggest problem is that women are not good enough. Women are not up to mark. They do not perform as well as the men do. There is a whole type of feminists which believes that the input is not equal to output. If you do not give the same place on that table to women, if you do not give the same opportunities, if you do not educate them the same way, if you do not treat them equally the same as men at your home, how do you expect the outcome to be the same? So this is high time that we realize that we need to break this chain. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is that boys are told कि लड़के रोते नहीं हैं. This is the statement which actually makes me feel very bad ever since, especially when I've become a mother of a boy. It's totally fine for boys to cry, to express emotions. For generations, these statements have ruined our generations. So, a boy who does not cry, a boy who does not understand emotions, a boy who does not express will be numb to these emotions of other people as well. This is called emotional quotient, which is equally important to your intelligent quotient. A person who is not empathetic, a person who does not feel for other people, I think should not be a human being at all. So this is high time we start telling our kids that there is no such statements, and if the old people tell you so, it's redundant. Okay, ji. Then fear of failure is another thing that is a huge problem in our society. We are expected to give our first attempt flawlessly, to be a winner in the first attempt. Whenever we start, it should be perfect, it should be on point, it should be great. Just think something that you want to do and you've not started it yet just because of the fear of failure. Let me tell you something. What if I tell you that you will do it the 11th time? If I could see the future and I tell you that after 10 failed attempts, in the 11th attempt you will make it. Just imagine how speedily you will go through those 10 attempts and reach that 11th one. So the point is, because of this fear of failure, we somehow give up in between. Make sure when you start something, you just don't easily let go of it until you win. Well, if you see a trained athlete and you're training and you're starting gym, you will see that he will not make fun of you. If you're with a billionaire and you talk about a new vision, a new idea, he will never laugh at you. It will always be the failures who will not believe in you. There is always a first time, there is always a place where it starts. So let this be the day where you start, where the chain breaks. This should be the first day as a different individual. We as the young generation have to break those chains and the barriers which the previous generations have not been able to. So now is high time that we start thinking what we are going to leave for our kids. Because most of the things that have been handed down to us have not been contributing much in making us or shaping us into better human beings. So let's decide that what will our kids inherit? Our fears or freedom? Our silence or our voices? So let's leave behind a direction which they follow to become great human beings. In the end, I'd just like to end on a very beautiful quotation which I found today in the morning when I was trying to pen a few points down for this talk. And it said, we don't get to choose how long we live, but we do get to choose what lives on after us. Let's make sure something good lives after us. Thank you very much. Pakistan Zindabad.